Hello everyone. We are Exotic Group. Our topic is all about cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing services from application to storage and processing power, typically over the internet and on a pay-as-you-go basis. How does cloud computing work? Rather than owning their own computing infra- infrastructure or data centers, companies can rent access to anything from application to storage from a cloud service provider. What what cloud computing services available? Cloud computing services cover a vast range of options now from the basics of storage, networking, and processing power through to natural language processing and artificial intelligence as well as standard office application. What are examples of computing? Cloud computing underpins a vast number of services that includes consumer services like Gmail or the cloud backup of a Bluetooth on your smartphone through to the services which allow large enterprises to host all their data and run all of their application in cloud.
Computing advantage and disadvantage. Cloud computing is not necessarily cheaper than other forms of computing, just as renting is not always cheaper than buying in the long term. If an application has a regular and predictable requirement for computing services, it may be more economical to provide that service in house. Some companies may be reluctant to host sensitive data in a service that is also used by rivals. Moving to a software as a service application may also mean you are using the same applications as a rival, which may make it hard to create any competitive advantage if that application is core to your business. While it may be easy to start using a new cloud application, migrating existing data or apps to the cloud may be much more complicated and expensive, and it seems there is now something of a shortage in cloud skills with staff with DevOps and multi cloud monitoring and management knowledge in particularly short supply. In one recent report, a significant proportion of experienced cloud users said that they thought upfront migration costs ultimately outweigh the long term savings created by infrastructure as a service. And of course, you can only access your applications if you have an internet connection.
Why is it called cloud computing? A fundamental concept behind cloud computing is that the location of the service and many of the details such as the hardware or operating system on which it is running are largely irrelevant to the user. Why is the history of the cloud computing? Cloud computing as a term has been around since the early 2000, but the concept of computing as a service has been around for much longer as far back as the 1960s when the computer bureaus would allow companies to rent time on the mainframe rather than have to buy one themselves. How important is the cloud? Building the infrastructure to support cloud computing now accounts for more than a third of all IT spending worldwide, according to research from IDC. What is infrastructure as a service? Cloud computing can be broken down into three cloud computing models. Infrastructure as a service refers to the fundamental building blocks of computing that can be rented: physical or virtual servers, storage, and networking.
What is platform as a service? Platform as a service is the next layer up, as well as the underlying storage, networking, and virtual servers. This will also include the tools and software that developers need to build applications on top of. That could include middleware, database, management, operating system, and development tools. Software as a service is the delivery of application as a service, probably the version of cloud computing that most people are used to on a day basis. Cloud computing benefits. The exact benefits will vary according to the type of cloud service being used, but fundamentally, using services means companies that having to buy or maintain their own computing infrastructure. Quantum computing. What is quantum computing? Quantum computing is an area of computing focused on developing computer technology based on the principles of quantum theory, which explains the behavior of energy and materials on the atomic and subatomic levels. Understanding quantum computing. According to the Institute of Quantum Computing at the University of Waterloo, the field of quantum computing started in the 1980s. It was then discovered that certain computational problems could be tackled more efficiently with quantum algorithms than with their classical counterparts.
Supremacy. On October 23, 2019, Google announced that it had achieved quantum supremacy, meaning that they had used a quantum computer to quickly solve a problem that a conventional computer would take an impractically long time, thousands of years, to solve. Autonomic computing. Autonomic computing (AC) is an approach to address the complexity of evolution problems in software systems. A software system that operates of its own or with a minimum of human interference according to a set of rules is called autonomic. Characteristics of autonomic systems. An autonomic system can self-configure at runtime to meet changing operating environments, self-tune to optimize its performance, self-heal when it encounters unexpected obstacles during its operation, and of particular current interest to protect itself from a malicious attacks.
Self-awareness. An autonomic application system knows itself and is aware of its state and its behaviors. Self-configuring. An autonomic application system should be able to configure and reconfigure itself under verifying and unpredictable conditions. Self-optimizing. An autonomic application system should be able to detect suboptimal behaviors and optimize itself to improve its execution. Self-healing. An autonomic application system should be able to detect and recover from potential problems and continue to function smoothly. Self-protecting. An autonomic application system should be capable of detecting and protecting its resources from both internal and external attack and maintaining overall system security and integrity. Context aware. An autonomic application system should be aware of its execution environment and be able to react to change in the environment. Open. An autonomic application system must function in a heterogeneous world and should be portable across multiple hardware and software architectures. Consequently, it must be built on standard and open protocols and interfaces.
So, computer vision. So, a bit of history. The origins of computer vision go back to an MIT undergraduate summer project in 1966. It was believed at the time that computer vision could solve in one summer, but now have a 50-year-old scientific field that is still far from being solved. As the internet matured in the 1990s, making large sets of images available online for analysis, facial recognition, programs flourish. These growing data sets help make it possible for machines to identify specific people in photos and videos. Its definition: it is an interdisciplinary scientific field that deals with how computers can be made to gain a high level of understanding of digital images or videos. From the perspective of engineering, it seeks to automate tasks that the human visual system. Computer vision tasks include methods for acquiring, processing, analyzing, and understanding digital images, and extraction of high-dimensional data from the real world in order to produce numerical or symbolic information. So, computer vision is being used today in a wide variety of real-world applications, which include first, the optical character recognition or OCR, reading handwritten postal codes on letters. Second is the machine inspection, rapid parts inspection for quality assurance using stereo vision with specialized illumination to measure tolerances on aircraft wings or auto body parts. Automotive safety, detecting unexpected obstacles such as pedestrians on the street under conditions or active vision techniques such as radar or LiDAR do not work well. Next, we have the surveillance, monitoring for intruders, analyzing highways traffic. And next, we have the fingerprint recognition and biometrics for automatic access authentications as well as forensic applications.
So here are some of industrial applications of computer vision. A. Optical character. B. Mechanical inspection. C. Retail. D. Medical imaging. E. Automotive safety. F. Surveillance and traffic monitoring. Moving on. How computer visions work. Acquiring an image. Images, even larger sets, can be acquired in real time through video, photos, or 3D technology for analysis. Processing the image. Deep learning models automates much more this process, but the models are often trained by first being fed thousands of labeled or pre-identified images. And lastly, understanding the image. The final step is the interpretive step where an object is identified or classified. And that's all. Thank you.